Welcome to Trail Manners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for Trail Manners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails, Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Welcome to the Trail Manners Podcast, episode number 49. Today we're bringing back one of our favorite guests with his own intro music now, Mr. Turdl Miller. So if this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The Trail Manners Podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Trail Manners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. That's right, we are back in Studio 78 with one of our favorite guests. And if you can't tell by his intro music, Joel, who are we talking to today?
Turdl Miller is in the bus. Turdl, how you doing?
Very well. How's it going, guys? Great song you got going.
I just
there,
want to
right?
know this.
Man, I feel like a woman.
Damn right.
Nicely played.
So we are back in Studio 78, and we've got Turdl Miller with us. We just went up Malans Peak here in Ogden, Utah. Started at 27th Street Trailhead.
Yep.
Turdl says, hey, I want to do this Malans thing you guys been talking about. I need like 1,000 feet of vert a day for Wasatch.
It was 2,000 feet we did today.
And we started like 10:30.
Yeah.
And so we've only hit 150 degrees right now.
It's hot.
We've got we're in Studio 78.
Parked in the sun.
We've got, he says we're parked in the sun, but it's pretty hard not to when you got a fireball that's just sitting in the sky. But we got the air conditioning on.
That's right.
The level windows are propped. The slide door's open.
The slide door's open, facing north.
So there's three extremely sweaty dudes that just went up Malans. Turdl has some Tecates.
Yep.
Right? And, of course, me and Joel, we rocked out the PBRs.
Yeah, thanks for bringing those. That's a lifesaver.
We dropped a couple limes in the PBRs first time for me, and it's actually not bad.
Just to class it up.
Yeah, right, a little bit. So, and if you haven't listened to it, the reason why we brought that on is Turdl was on our show, episode
the song that is
number 10. Yeah. And so we talked about guilty pleasures of songs, and his was Shania Twain, Man, I Feel Like a Woman.
Great song if you're running. Great song.
It just sounds like a great song altogether.
But now that we've talked about this is his favorite song, and watching that video of the beer mile at Hard Rock, it's all coming together now. I understand things I didn't in the past.
So what happened in that beer mile video, Joel, for the people that haven't seen that?
Oh, all right. So
I took fourth, just so we're clear here. I took fourth.
Because of aerodynamics?
Yeah, right. Shaved.
Turdl ran the Hard Rock beer mile in a leopard thong.
Yeah.
Was it a thong or a Speedo?
No, just a Speedo. Yeah,
just a Speedo. And it happens
I
at
had to keep some
4:19 into the video, something like that. 4:05, I don't know.
But my favorite part is when we were hiking up, Malans, he says, yeah, my daughter was in the video.
Yeah. And then you're automatically like, man.
I know, right?
Really?
I know.
She was excited. She's actually never, she's been to my races, she's been to ultras, but she's never... Usually when you run an ultra, your kids can't watch you run the whole thing. So she was excited to go watch a race where she could watch Papa the whole time and give him 5 and whatnot. And she ran a race right before that, the hard block, which is the one they run for kids. And so she was like stoked to go to this race. And
until she was there.
Until Dad's trip down.
No, that's believe me, she's seen worse.
So with your... therapy costs have got to be pretty high right now for her, right?
So.
With what she saw.
Yeah, but we've got Obamacare, so that'll take care of it. It's not really that much right now.
Well, we brought you back on because, let's face it, you were one of our fun shows. We got a lot of downloads. It was you and Luke for a while, you and Ty for a while. But we had to bring you back because we got some questions for you.
We appreciate it.
So I think we're going to start right now because you were a fan favorite, but I did get some emails. I saw people on the trail, saw some friends of mine, and they said, why did you not ask him why his name is Turdl. That's
that's
not his
right.
real name.
Luke Nelson wanted to know
Yeah,
that.
it's not Turdl. Turd'L, right?
Right.
Miller.
Right.
And I know years ago you had a problem with Facebook wanting to cancel your account or something, if I remember right, because that's not your legit legal name, right?
Well, it is. So my legal name is Jared Mark III Turdl Miller Jr. It's a
Okay, wait, one more. Can you do that one more time, slow-mo?
Jared Mark III Turdl Miller Jr. So
Mark?
it is
Mark the Third.
part and
That
a
sounds like
junior,
a car.
third and a junior. Yeah, right.
So you didn't. What did you put on your football jersey in high school?
I didn't play football. Yeah,
Your hockey jersey.
Yeah, your hockey
I
jersey.
think they put the-
Lacrosse.
Yeah. Help us out.
Gymnastics didn't put names on them,
I
right?
was a soccer
In
player
the
too.
leotard.
I
Oh,
was-
that's
I
right.
was
You
a
were.
keeper,
We had that story.
So,
So where's it come from?
So Turdl.
Talking to the
Turdl's,
microphone.
As you can tell by the Mark the Third and the Junior, it's a family name. So my dad's name was Jared Mark Turdl Jr. Miller, and my
Got to talk into the mic. There
I
you
gotta
go.
hold it closer.
There we go.
Yeah, you
You're
gotta
used
get
to
up
that.
on that. Just like when you were, doing the beer mile and you did the dong on dong love. Yeah. Get that mic in there.
Well, I guess there went your explicit rating. Right?
No, we're still good.
So
No, it was a gong.
but my grandfather's name was Jared Mark Miller, and that's kind of where I got started. My grandfather had a commanding officer on World War I that they called Commander Turdl, because the guy was slow. Every time they did a PT training or whatnot, he was one of the last guys through, so they called him Turdl. Kind of behind his back, Commander Turdl. Well, one day, Commander Turdl was walking through a field in France. And tripped and fell face first in a pile of cow stuff, so they started calling him Turd'l.
Oh, there we go.
So, I don't know, the guy saved my grandpa's life a couple times or something like that, and so when he got home from the war, he gave my dad the middle name of Turdl, and my dad used to like to say I got so much crap in grade school that I passed it on.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it wasn't something I really enjoyed as a kid. My dad did me a blessing of signing me up for classes. My first name he put as J Turdl, J period Turdl. So I was the kid in class that the teacher couldn't pronounce your name. Turdl.
It's a turtle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Jared. Thanks. And so of course everybody knew that was kind of my middle name, and people gave me a lot of crap about it. It was fighting words for a long time till I got my crap beat out of me, and then I kind of realized it wasn't worth fighting over. But and then fast forward a few years after I graduated from high school, I lived in California, and my roommates there found out my name was Turdl. My middle name is Turdl, and said, "You got to go by that." And
Yeah.
so they would introduce me to everyone as Turdl, and I just would try to correct it. And one night I was sitting on the couch at a party, and a couple of smoking hot little blonde California girls sitting on either side of me, talking to me and calling me Turdl, and like they'd known me for years, and me
You're
looking
like,
at
"Yes,
them going,
ma'am."
"I have no idea who you are." And
But you can call me whatever you want.
But a little light bulb went off in my head and said, "That's something hot chicks will remember your name."
That's
so
right.
I decided that was probably something I'd go by. And
Well, it's cool because not only hot chicks remember, but I think everybody does. I mean,
think so, too.
Seriously, in the trail running / ultra running community, everybody's heard of Turdl Miller.
Yep.
And I'm not saying they would never heard of Jared Miller for sure, but it does leave that lasting impression.
Well,
so
I-
when I first met you, that's how it was. I'm like, oh, Turdl, boom, stuck.
I've got guys that I went to college with that, fraternity brothers that were really good friends, and 20 years later they're like, introduced me to their wives, and like, Turdl, I don't even know your real name. It's like, that is my real name. That is my name, but yeah, my first name's Jared, if that makes you feel comfortable.
Is it Jared?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Just
But
'cause it-
and again, the only person that called me, that's my wife, because she thinks she can get away with it. But yeah,
So family, everybody else, it's Turdl.
pretty much, yeah.
So,
yeah.
wow, that's pretty cool. And you're wearing a green shirt today.
Yep.
So that kind of, you got the Hoka Speed Goat, because we were climbing, so I think you wore the
It's
Speed Goat shirt.
It's the Speed Goat shirt to remind me that I've DNF'd that race twice.
You have.
How many times have you run it?
Twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I have not yet completed that course.
Well,
It's,
there's rumor out there that this was the last year of Speed Goat, so we got to hope that that's not the case, Carl
Yeah.
Meltzer. I know you're at the Appalachian Trail right now, but
I bet he's listening to this podcast.
he usually
on the Appalachian
does.
Trail.
I'm sure he is. There's nothing else to do, for that long.
For
so
2,000 miles.
Well, that's one thing I really enjoyed, kind of segueing here, but that's one of the things I really enjoyed about Malans today is listening to you guys talk. I've always got you in my ear while I'm walking and running anyway, and so to to kind of hear you guys up ahead, just kind of chatting away, it was kind of made me feel like I was on a run by myself.
Did you hear what we were saying? Okay, that's cool. So let's bring up some stuff we talked about on the run, because there are some things you wanted to bring up. You said, I'm glad this is confidential. So let's break that. No, sorry. You were scared for a minute. You're like, oh, man, they told me threw me in the bus.
Sure. Still don't like PBR. Yeah, still don't.
All right, so we've talked to you. You right across the street from us, if you saw our Instagram post, we posted not too long ago, you've got your bus.
Yep.
Right? We didn't get to dive too deep in it, but I think you're kind of in the middle of something right now, right? So van life. It's glamorous. Everybody loves it. It's hashtagged all over, and everybody sees the pretty pictures. But you're in the middle of some different type of van life, right? You got some things going on with your bus?
Yeah. When did
you drive up last night? Why'd you drive up last night?
For outdoor retail, is that what you mean?
But I mean, you said you didn't want to overheat, right?
Yes, right. Okay, so one of the things that's interesting to me about van life is, again, it looks glamorous. You know, you look up the hashtag van life on Instagram. There's lots
sexy.
Lots of cool, fun pictures, and right. But Joel brings up a good point. One thing that Instagram doesn't give you is a sense of smell, and
the reality,
and the reality
the dirtiness
of the lot of things that you have to deal with as part of as a member of the van life community.
Pay your dues, not just in money, but time.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you know. I mean, those of us that live in a house part-time or full-time or whatever take for granted when you look at those, you know, those van life pictures. You know, some of that is the fact that every night you've got to find a place that's
safe.
That you're not going to get messed with to park your bus.
And we talked about this when he was with us last in February or January.
Yeah.
When was that?
You got to find a place to shower.
You got to find a
place
safe
to
place.
use the bathroom.
Because if you throw that pop-up up, everybody knows that you're sleeping, so they're going to come over and mess with you automatically.
Like Walmart parking lots are big for that.
Well, that's safe, but he said that he won't go to Walmart parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, Walmarts are good, but sometimes, if you think about where Walmarts are located in a lot of cities, they're not in necessarily the places you want to. You know, you don't want to be in a Walmart parking lot in the middle of nowhere. You want to kind of be, close to where you're at. And a lot of times Walmarts may not be close to where you
convenient.
Right. Similarly, you've got to be able to, every once a couple of days or once a week or at some point you have to find a shower. There are some different options depending on the vehicle you choose, but to be able to take a shower out the back of a Volkswagen bus in a Walmart parking lot's not really something that works real well.
All right, well, that was weird there. We're in the bus, and of course it's hot as the surface of the sun right now.
Yep.
And the computer kind of overheated.
Well, we had it in the window. That was kind of our fault.
That was my fault.
That was a rookie mistake on our part.
So what we were talking about is, Turdl's talking about the van life and about being in, and this is real. I mean, we're not trying to mix anything. We're just saying, hey, this was an overheating issue. But we're talking about showering, right? Because in the Volt's van life.
Right. Because guys stink.
Guys do stink. I mean, you got three sweaty dudes right now. I got to clean out my bus after I get home.
Right. As somebody that likes to participate in outdoor activities, it's important that every couple of days you get a shower because in addition to stinking, you'll chafe. You'll have other issues that deal with the dirty part of that. And so without finding a way to get clean, I mean, some of us can wash in a stream or whatever, but again, that may not be close to a Walmart parking lot. So you got to find somewhere to.
Or you might be in southern Utah and there's no streams.
There's no water.
There's no water.
Right.
Well, I mean, because we talked about it because we've had problems with Studio 78. Is when you have the van life, there's always something. Turd'l, when we got here today, talked about you almost have to be a mechanic, right?
You need.
And I'm not. Let's face it. I mean,
depending on the vehicle. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I told Turd'l, I said I'm not a mechanic, but I see these are new wiper blades I changed on Studio 78. So there are exceptions. I know
you
mechanics.
had to Google that, didn't you?
Maybe. So, I mean, I had to go to Checker. They helped me out. I acted like, I couldn't do it. But, I mean, it's glamorous from Instagram photos, just like anything. I mean, you look at trail running photos, and it's sunsets and animals, but they don't show you falling and breaking your leg and everything else. So, but the van life, Turdl's been living it for a while, and you travel, you legit travel a lot in your van.
Yeah.
Because you came up, and work, because you came up from St. George, Utah, to Salt Lake City, Utah, to Ogden, Utah. And for those that don't know, that's 5 hours. Well, in a bus, how long is it?
Took me 6 hours.
Okay.
6 hours of driving.
That's pretty good.
That is not bad.
Strong tailwind.
Yeah, good tailwind. But, I mean, I'm having some issues with the van. Some mechanical issues, and I don't know what's going on with that. I'm going to take it in and drop it off on Friday and have somebody look at it, and hopefully he fixes it in a day because, I got to be in Colorado for a race, and so yeah, I mean that is part of it. If you have an old Volkswagen bus, if that's the vehicle you decide to, use for the van life that you want to live, then there are certain things that, yes, it's less expensive to afford to live in if you wanted to live in it, but you still, I mean, there's a lot of other expenses that you have to think about.
Well, just here in the cabinet here, I've got an extra clutch cable, a couple other parts just on hand, just knowing that, hey, this is potentially going to happen.
Right.
I don't know how to change it.
Right.
Like if the clutch cable goes, I got one.
Right.
So if I flag somebody down, they can fix it for me.
Right.
Well, but that's key as well for an older vehicle like this, is you have to have the parts, because they're not going to be able to find those parts in a timely fashion. And if you've got somewhere you got to be and your clutch cable breaks, it may be 3 days shipping before they can get it to you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, there's that part of it.
So what do you think of some of the newer vans that are out there? So I know we're
Oh.
switching gears there, but
Well, we just had a conversation about that this morning, too, about the one you were kind of looking at from Hard Rock, right?
So what was that?
So there's a guy named Walter Edwards who finished Hard Rock this year. Can you not hear that?
Not when you don't talk into the microphone.
We're having technical difficulties.
Let me try
with
this
Turd'l.
again.
Turd'l difficulties.
Yeah.
So a good friend of mine, Walter Edwards, has a Dodge ProMaster, and it's just a big panel van, basically.
Okay. What year?
I think it's a 2014.
Wow, that's way new.
Jeez.
And what he
right?
did is he went to a place in Colorado and had a pop top put on the top of it, and it's big like a Sprinter van. And I look at that thing and go, "You've got a pop top on top of a Sprinter van." I mean, when you pop that thing up, it's like a
Second story.
3-story condo. You know what I mean?
Like a
It's
climbing
huge.
wall in
It's
there.
so tall
Bathrooms
up there.
upstairs.
But there's disadvantages and advantages to both. I mean, obviously, a newer vehicle, you're going to have less mechanical breakdowns, but they're
Right.
not going to be, completely designed like the interior of a Volkswagen bus, where you literally are. They're designed with everything in mind of, here's where this needs to be, and here's where this is, and here's where this is. They've refined that process in an older van, but
Well,
you're gonna have to spend money on fixing.
So
it.
some of these newer vans, though, you can just get them as a shell, and you can just build them out how you want, right?
You can build them out how you want, but again, that's you're designing on the fly. You're designing things that may or may not work because they're not tried and true and tried out in the previous version of that van, kind of
True.
thing.
So Jen Shelton drives around like a little Ford van. Have you seen her van?
I
So
haven't.
Ford's got this little like transporter
No,
van.
but she does shower in streams. I saw that at Bigfoot a couple years ago.
Did you?
Big fan.
You're a big fan of her?
Big fan of Jen Shelton.
Okay.
Jen, if you're listening, I'm a big fan.
All right.
This is too much.
Creeper.
Well, you're not the first guy in this podcast to call me a creeper, right? I
Right.
mean, what was the guy? What was that guy at Park City running company? I've never met the guy. He's calling me a creeper. Right out loud.
Tolbert?
Tolbert. That's
Tolbert,
right.
I'm calling you out,
Howard
dude.
Stash.
Creeper.
Tolbert.
Yeah, right. A guy with a mustache is calling me a creeper.
Oh,
Holy moly, man!
All right, so
I've,
back-
Like I
I've
said,
come a long
everybody knows
ways.
Turd'l.
So back to this van that she's got, right? So she's got this little this smaller like Ford van. It's easy to drive around and it's all decked out. That's really appealing, right? If you and maybe only one other person are cruising around in that thing, because it's easy to get in and out. The gas mileage looks decent. Looks like it's not going to break down.
Right.
Why would somebody choose that over something old?
Well, I think that's it. It kind of depends on what you're looking for out of a vehicle. I mean, one of the things I really like about a Volkswagen bus is the fact that it doesn't feel like a minivan. It doesn't look like a minivan when
True.
you drive it.
So this was like the original minivan,
Yeah,
right?
right.
This was like motorhome back in the day.
It's a small motorhome is really
Right.
what you're talking about. A Ford van like you're talking about. If I'm imagining
Right.
it is a
Transit.
minivan.
It is basically a minivan. I think it's on a minivan platform at least.
And I don't know what they've done to build that out inside or what
Nothing.
it looks
I
like,
think-
or
I
if
think
there's
comes
a
the
fridge
shell.
or a cooler or anything like
You
that.
put
in there.
whatever you want in those things, right? You just get the shell.
You
and
can,
then,
you can get them just stock with nothing. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
nothing.
did that with some sprinters.
Right. So I'm kind of curious about those, to be honest. I mean, I've got my bus. It's sitting out in the back of Corey Johnson's lot right now, and it has no motor in it, and it's got the doors off of it, and it needs painted, and there's some raccoon living in it. But
A family of raccoons.
yeah, pretty much a family of raccoons living
There
in
was
it.
one, now there's 14.
Yeah, exactly. But when I look at that thing and all the things I have to do to it, and I look at something that's like, say, the 2013, 2014, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some definite advantages on
Right.
the motor side, just the breakdown and
Oh,
everything
yeah.
else. But I think, I mean, I mean, Turdl knows. You drive down Studio 78 drives down the road. I get people stopping, talking.
They do.
It's nostalgic to a lot of people,
They
and
do.
it stands out.
A lot of us grew up riding around in the passenger or the back
Right.
seat of a Volkswagen bus, and our
Some were
parents
made
took us
there.
home. Right. Yeah,
You know?
some of us were manufactured in a Volkswagen
That's
bus. Right.
So it's kind of like that toss-up. Do you want the nostalgia, kind of that good feeling when you're driving down the road? Or do you want that reliability? Is what it comes down to.
Well, there's a lot of things to think about. There's the do you want it to blend in? I mean,
Yeah.
that's one thing with a Volkswagen bus or a Ford van is that they blend in. When you park on the street and decide to sleep in your van,
you're not going to get harassed.
people don't know. You know, for the most part, in a Ford van, no one's going to bother you at all. No, the cops aren't going to stop. They're not going to think anything of it. A Volkswagen bus, and if you don't pop the top, for the most part, you're okay. Whereas if you put, you drive a big, like a Mercedes Sprinter and park it, then there might be a reason for somebody to talk to you or stop.
Right.
As well as, finding a parking spot sometimes can be tricky in those because they're bigger vehicles.
True, they
and
are.
To find
Those
a spot
Sprinters
to
are
park
kind
it.
of big. I don't think I would want one.
Yeah,
because
they're-
they are so big.
Well, but the other advantage is you can stand up inside of those.
You can't. But there's that. Yeah.
Like in here, even you can stand up, but you got to bend like this to do anything. Versus a Sprinter, you can just straight.
Joel can stand up.
I
in
can.
here.
I am kind of short. I get that. I understand that. I'm comfortable with it.
Well, the other advantage is a bigger vehicle allows you to do things like put in a bathroom if that's
True.
something you want to do. Put in a shower if
Yep.
that's something you wanted to do. Give yourself a little bit more of those things that you're not going to fit a bathroom or a shower in there unless it's a
No.
water bottle.
Yeah. The sun shower, right?
Water bottle
Sun showers.
shower.
I got a sun shower. It's work good. It's got to rinse off, baby.
right. It's a bucket.
That's right.
All I need is a bucket and a sponge.
You need somebody to just go down the road and you find some kid playing in the hose, and you just like, can I join you?
Hey, kid.
I got candy.
I got a
scoot over.
van and some candy. Have you met my puppy? His name's Gunner. So that's the fun part because we do social media obviously, and so you do see all the van life photos, and I look at those from my bus. I mean, it's obviously got some work to do. The body I'd like repaint, interior. I'm pretty
Talking about the
you know,
bus or like your real body?
Yeah, both. I need some overhaul. It needs an overhaul. Need to take a little bit off the top. But you look at some of those, you're like, man, what it could be. Because there's some sexy, like dirty sexy, as Joel says, buses out there. And
Right.
you just, I guess there's always that dream. But
Yeah,
for
but
me, if my
Do you wanna
bus
get
is
them
starting and
fixed
running,
up? Yeah, exactly.
I'm
So
I'm psyched.
do you want to get it fixed up to the point where you don't want to drive it?
That's the problem you see a lot
Right.
of. Or you
Heck
put so
no,
much
man.
in that people, I get people literally that stop at my house and ask if I'm selling my bus.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll knock on the door, hey, are you selling that? And I'm like, is there a sell sign in it? No.
Right.
Well, I guess I'm
Right,
not
right.
selling it. And
That's right.
then I stop and go, wait a minute, how much would you pay for this?
Well, and I mean, if you look at my van, I've done some things to it. I've put a rack on the top. I've
Yep.
put solar panels on it. I've done a lot of different small little upgrades to it. But it still doesn't matter. It still doesn't mean it's not going to break down from time
Yep.
to time. You know what I mean? It's not. It's never left me stranded. That's one good thing about turning it into a daily driver is if you
Right.
drive it every single day,
You can get ahead of those problems.
you
right?
hear those sounds.
Right.
You notice. Like for example, I noticed leaving Silverton and driving home after being in Colorado for a couple of weeks that I didn't have as much power for whatever reason. I thought, okay, I'm dealing with a headwind, but it didn't go away and didn't go away and didn't go away. And I was only going, when normally I'd be driving 70 miles an hour, I was driving 50 miles an hour. And I'm going, okay, something's going on here. So, I don't have it figured out yet, but I've put 3,000 miles on it since then. So at some point I'll figure it out before it leaves me stranded. And that the advantage is if I hadn't been driving it for 6 months and that happened, I'd climb in it and I wouldn't recognize
Yep.
that I was missing the power or that it was making this click in the back rear or whatever. And so then every time you drive it, you're spending $2,000 to fix all these little niggly problems. So
Yeah. Well, that's just some of it. I mean, it is pretty fun though. I mean, you got to say, even with the problems, you have to know what you're getting into.
right.
But if you make the best of it, I mean, again, you break down, you're in a bus. You got a place to sleep.
Right.
You know, I mean, you have ways to work it that way. But I'll tell you what, it's
Keep
a,
mechanic overalls with you in the van.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
just or a sweet leopard thong.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
That way
We'll
you
go
get
ahead.
to-
I have
Include that
both.
video.
I really have both. They're both. We can,
He looked over at his bus. No, we're good. You can stay in
we
here
got
for
it, we
now.
got it.
No, don't go get that.
All right.
Well,
So,
I've
I'll
actually,
include that
there
video
were
for
actually a
sure.
lot of people that wanted me to bring that up for OR. I'm guessing they wanted a hat.
Oh, we
what in the world just happened in here? This is getting dirty. You want to sit outside of the bus and continue this conversation?
You could probably do like a fundraiser with that thong.
I don't think you could.
I think you could. There's a certain segment of people that would probably donate to whatever cause.
To not have to see it ever again.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'd
exactly.
donate. I'd
I
donate.
would
to
never-
that.
I'd donate that,
right.
Well,
I
because
don't even want to watch it. I
'cause
mean,
when
there's
you-
a couple of parts of that video that I'm like, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, when you grab that dude's butt, I mean, just
Dude, it's when they
I was
did
like,
the
no.
slow-mo jiggle of me
Oh,
throwing
yeah.
the beer can. I was like,
that was a good one too.
dude, that's obscene. I mean, plain and simple, that's obscene. I can't. I'm having a hard time forgiving Run Steep, get high for putting
Jamil
that video
for doing
out there.
that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
let's
Well, it
let's
wasn't Jamil. Jamil wasn't there,
Jamil?
but I can blame him because it's his company.
It's his
Right.
company.
Let's rewind a little bit. We're in social media time, so anything you do is your own fault these days.
Pretty much.
Someone's got a camera. Someone's looking
Yeah.
for Pokemon. Someone's going to find you. Right?
Very true.
Turtle
Pokemon. Do you remember
found the
Pokemon right there?
when he was hugging
Like
that dude
that?
in the blue shorts.
That was Pokemon. I
Yeah.
found Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right,
There's
right.
Pikachu.
yeah, Pikachu.
All right, so we're going to shift gears just a tiny bit because, you've got something interesting coming up, and you reached out, and we did a fun little social media thing, and so it's been over a week, but I'm sure the headlamp's still up there.
Probably.
But,
Yeah, I may have to go retrieve it.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably. It's
I just
corroded.
at some point I feel bad that I littered.
Oh my gosh, you did not go there.
I did. I feel bad that I littered. If no one's going to go up and get it, I'll go up and get it.
It's a headlamp.
It's a headlamp.
It's a nice headlamp.
Yeah,
So-
no,
like
that's like one of my favorite ones. I love that
maybe what I ought to do
It's
is
a
I
pencil
oughta,
headlamp,
Maybe we oughta,
folks.
maybe we ought to up the ante and say if you go get it and post a picture of it and
There you go.
on your head,
Yep.
then I'll send you a lumen.
Or send you a
I'll send you a
leopard skin
lumen.
Wait a minute.
Speedo.
Which lumen?
Not
though?
the 600. I have the smaller
All
one.
right, never mind.
You've
It's
got
not
what?
worth
What'd
it,
you say?
folks.
You have the-
What's the smaller one?
you have the smaller one?
The 160?
60 or something.
170.
Yeah.
the
So you've got the
170?
smaller one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you got the smaller one.
You see
Yeah.
that,
So there you go.
that disappointment in Eric's voice right away.
You
Oh,
heard
the
it here
170.
first. If you go get that headlamp, I'll send you my lumen 160, 170.
170. Just remember, Turdl's got the small one if you want that.
Right.
So, but Turdl, what he did was
I have the small one that I'll give you.
but he put a headlamp on top of a peak, and then he did some little scavenger
No, it
thing.
wasn't on top of a peak.
Wasn't
It was like it's some.
No.
It was like
It
some
was at
trail
Walmart's
junction.
parking lot.
and it's
You'll
down in
have
like
you'll
it's
have
in
to-
Davis County, folks.
You'll have to follow trail manners and
So yeah, what he did
follow
was
that.
he said go to Trail Manners, like their page, follow the next clue, which went to Derek Little Media.
Yeah, right.
And there was a clue there, and then
Yep.
after that, I didn't even follow
And then
it.
there was no more clues after that. We probably
Well, there was clues after
What?
that.
There
Yeah,
was?
there was a clue after Lytle.
didn't see
It
that.
sent
Oh,
it
you go to
sent
your Facebook page.
to Heck with the Heat, which is a trail group in St. George, and
Okay.
then on there was a clue that basically told you where it was.
it was at some trail junction where you can see the
Right.
The-
You'll have to follow it.
whatever
There we go.
things the
Jump
observatories.
on the interweaves and check it out,
Yeah.
Joel.
Well, I don't need
Just-
that damn headlamp.
Yeah, but it's your favorite one.
What
It
about
is
a
my
lumen?
favorite one.
But if
What about
you-
a lumen? Would you
No,
like a
not the
lumen?
170. That
Yeah,
thing's, that
not
thing's,
the not the
no.
little one. Joel
No,
doesn't
sorry,
want the little
folks, I
one.
don't want the little one. I like the big ones.
So that brings us to the whole reason behind this whole scavenger hunt.
Yes.
Is you are going to jump in and start a race series
Right.
in southern Utah,
In St. George.
in St. George,
St. George
Utah.
only, right?
So why don't you give us? I'm going to just throw some questions at you because I know you'll go from there. But when is it? What can runners expect? Why are you doing it? Well, I mean, what's the whole gist of your race series, and what does it start? How does it work?
So the race series is the thought process behind the race series is for years I've lived in St. George and everybody tells me that there's not a trail group down there. There's a lot of trail runners, but not necessarily a group of trail people and people that don't necessarily know how to get into trail running. There's lots of runners in St. George, but not a lot of, there's a runners group, St. George Running Club, that's part of the St. George Running Center, but there's not really a trail group that all runs together and has a weekly run and whatnot. And I know in Ogden we've got Hummers, and in Salt Lake we got Wasatch Mountain Wranglers, and in Phoenix they've got Aravipa that does a weekly run, and to me that was very, I looked at Aravipa and I go down there and it's middle of July and it's 5:00 on a Wednesday afternoon and there are 120 people out at a trailhead and it's 115 degrees out and they're all going on a trail run, and I'm
Right.
thinking to myself, why is this not something that's already happening in St. George? And so that was kind of the idea behind To Heck with the Hate heat trail group is that we're going to, be able to go for runs and
Okay.
and whatnot. And one of the things that I know that trail runners like to do is at some point you want to come together. It's fine to go for trail runs together, but at some point you want to have a goal. That's something that helps me get out and decide that I want to go running every day and go do 1,000 feet of elevation climb or whatever the heck is because you've got a goal race, whether that's a 100-miler, whether that's a 5K, whether it's a 50K, whatever that is. So the thought process behind the race series is that there's a lot of people that like to run in St. George, not a lot of people that necessarily feel comfortable on the trails, but if we can get them to come out to the trails and do kind of a couch to 5K, 5 to 10K, 10K to half marathon, and then end the year with a big capstone course in November, where there's different distances you can run. You can run a 5K, you can run a 10K, you can run a half marathon, or you can continue to do loops, and that's kind of the idea behind the course. It's going to be a loop course, a 10K loop course that you'll run in washing machine style, where, if you do one loop, then you get a 10K. If you do 2 loops, then it's a half marathon. If you do 5 loops, it's a 10K.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that, that there's a program to help people that have never run on trails before get used to running on trails. So there's going to be races leading up to that, the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon. And then, as we all know, St. George gets pretty hot in the summer. So one of the things that's important is that you still have a race in the summer, but it's got to be at a time frame where it's comfortable to run. And if you don't run every day in the heat, then you can't necessarily run in the heat. And so my thought process is let's have, come August, we'll do a night run, a night 10K where, because that's something as you start to get into trail running, you have to kind of figure out how to run with a headlamp that you could find for free on a
trail
Wasatch 100 course, or
Davis County.
Probably get a waste headlamp thrown in with it for free
Oh
if you
my
just
gosh.
go get it. And anyway, but my point is that's something that I think you need to understand as well. And so that's the other part. That's another one of the pieces of the series is we'd have a night run.
I think that's awesome, personally.
Yeah.
So the idea is this race that's going to be in November, on November 12th down in St. George. It's the capstone race for the whole series, and the idea is it's going to start at noon with a 12-hour cutoff. So you have 12 hours to do as many loops as you want up to a 50K. After 50K, I don't really want you to continue to be stupid, but you can. I mean, it's up to you. But that's the idea, is that it gives everyone the opportunity to go out there and do a 50K, and it gives you plenty of time to do it. When you think about the time frame you have to complete, and it's not going to be a hard course. It's not like you got to do 2,000 feet of elevation gain.
Right. So let's maybe talk a little bit about the course then.
Okay.
What can runners expect out of this course?
Like, will it be similar on all the races, the course-wise, or is it going to be different locations?
Very
How does that
similar.
work?
I mean, St. George is a lot of the trails down there are very similar. They're all again desert, sandy. I mean, a little bit of sand, but mostly
Kind of rolling,
rocky stuff that you're dealing with. It's just a normal trail. I mean, you're not.
Well, your normal trail is different than our normal trail up here.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, very true. We don't have trees down there.
Yeah.
You have cacti,
Yeah,
you
we
got
have
rattlesnakes.
We have a few cacti. Yeah.
You don't have springs coming out
We
the
have
side of the mountain.
we have some desert tortoises down there.
Yeah.
Nice.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So it's going to be. Are you going to be able to do it at the tortoise
on the
preserve?
tortoise reserve. No, so in St. George, the northern part of the town is set aside as the Red Cliffs Desert Reserve.
Yeah.
Locally, it's kind of known as the Tortoise Reserve because there's a endangered endangered tortoise that is
Not you.
that
but
that the land is set aside for. And so the BLM owns part of the land. The state park, Snow Canyon State Park, owns some of the land. But what they've done is they've designated that as an area, and the agreement they made when they set it aside is that they wouldn't have any competitive events on that area. Now they're currently in discussion to see if that might change, but at this point we can't run it there. So we're going to run it real close to there.
Right.
It's out in an area that it's known as Moe's Valley, as well as the Zen Trail is where we're looking to hold the capstone
running.
course. And again, you'll go out there, and if you think about a 50K in 12 hours, if you think about a 10K course, you're thinking, a 6 mile course, you have to do it in 2.5 hours. That's
right.
25-minute miles. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's just it's
You can
not.
walk that,
Yeah, it's
especially
you
if
can
it's flat and rolling.
right. It's not going to be a real difficult course because I really want this to be kind of the capstone of allowing people that have never run on trails before to have the ability that if as long as you keep moving, you're not going to get cut off. We're going
Right.
to allow you to continue and allow you to go out there and reach your goals.
So they start at the beginning of the year. So ultimately, what you want, you start at the beginning of the year. You do like a 5K. It's like,
Right.
all right, you've never run on trails before. Here's this 5K race. It's close to town.
Right.
I'm going to assume it's reasonably priced. You're going to have a great course, great organization, and then the next thing is 10K, and then you go up to that half marathon, then you go marathon, and then at the end of the year, boom, you've got this 50K course.
Little nugget.
Exactly.
And in each one of those, you're going to have a program, a training program that's provided for you with a couch to 5K program where where we say, here's the 6 weeks before this race, and here are the runs that I want you to do.
Right.
Here are the amount of times that I want you to go out there and exercise and
Right.
and exercise and
So
participate.
is this
in
just going to
thing.
be available on your website?
Yep.
For free.
Yeah.
Wow,
those
that's
programs are gonna be on there
pretty
for free.
cool.
That's pretty cool. So
you gonna-
what's the website called?
Turdletrek.com.
Turd'l.
And that's
How you spell it?
Yeah, spell it for us.
TURDLTREK.
Dot
Turdletrek.
com.
.com.
All right.
So are you going to have training runs too? Like group training runs
Yeah,
for
that-
people that want to
so-
between races, things
So
like that?
that group that you ended up not going to after Derek Lytle's page.
Heck with the heat.
To heck with the heat.
I think I went there.
That
I-
well, you didn't like. Did you like it?
I liked it.
Oh yeah, Eric. I
I'm
did
not
get
sure if
one.
I
I
like
did
that.
get one like out of it. You're
I did
right.
like
I got
it.
one like out of it.
I like it.
So we got one new like there at the To Heck with the Heat. We're almost to 100 likes there at To Heck with the Heat.
Oh my gosh, you're making it big time.
So that trail group meets every Wednesday afternoon.
Right? Oh my gosh.
And we do it's basically To Heck with the Heat. You know,
Yeah.
we
You're gonna go hell or high water.
we're gonna go run every Wednesday afternoon,
Right.
Wednesday evening, because in the heat, whether it's hot, whether it's not, we're
Right.
gonna run because we know that one way to acclimatize the way to acclimatize yourself to a heat is just like the way you acclimatize yourself to climbing, and that's just to frickin' do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
And
See, and I just don't do it, and that
Yeah.
helps a lot. Like
It
if I
does
don't
help a
run,
lot.
if I don't run when it's
Right.
hot, then
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it.
no, you're
Yep.
right. You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But I
absolutely
mean, we
right.
are super jealous of you in the middle of the winter when you're down there in southern
Yeah.
Utah.
We talk about it every January.
Every
It's like we
January.
should go down to St. George,
Yeah.
man. We did
Just-
that one year. We went down
Oh,
to stayed at
so
Bryce
nice.
Thatcher's house and we went on a couple runs.
It's
cow.
It was beautiful.
St. George is a beautiful place in the winter.
It's-
Absolutely. I mean, it's beautiful year round. It really
Right.
is. But again, that the key to running in the summer down there. And again, I did
go early.
no. The key
or just go.
is
Don't.
just run every day. You have to go out there and get used to it. So
Yeah.
so that in February when you're running and it's 60 degrees, and then in March when it's 75 degrees, and then
Oh,
in
sounds good. I like it.
Oh, you're making me happy.
in
Just
April
stop-
when it's
just stop
80
there.
and it starts to get a little warmer, you're just starting to get you're getting your body acclimatized to it.
You are just like anything. Just those small doses, you get used to
Right.
it.
Right.
Right.
Or just don't do it. I'm still on that program.
I know you are.
I suffer during races.
I'm trying
Don't
to
do it
help
program.
here.
I suffer during a race that gets hot. Yeah, I'll suffer for a few hours.
But you could suffer better.
yeah, hey, there's a segue. There's a
Yeah,
segue. We'll
it
come
is a
back
Sticker
to.
on your bus that says suffer better,
That's
isn't it? I
right.
think I was
That's
reading
right.
that. Yeah.
That's right. So this is going to start when? When's like the approximate time you want to do your first race?
So the capstone course is going to be held on November 12th this year.
So 2016,
2016. Yeah, November 12th, 2016.
you have a 12. Basically, it's a 12-hour race, right?
12-hour race.
You do
right.
as many loops as you can.
Right. There's going to be a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a 50K
So you'll get recognized for doing those distances.
for doing those distances.
All right.
Right. So, and it's and again, it's washing machine loops. So the first loop you run out and you do it clockwise, and the second one you go out and you run counterclockwise. And that,
Okay.
that's something I picked up from Javelina when I
Right.
ran it a couple of years. Is how much fun and social that makes an event when you do them in washing machine loops, because
Right.
you come back past and get to see, the guys in the back of the pack. Raise my hand, right? I mean, I'm one of those guys. You still get to see those guys that are winning the race, that are in
Right.
the front of the race. You get to see them every single loop, and it's just the camaraderie and the way to go and the high fives and the nice job that you get by having those, turn around at that start finish and go back the other way. It's just to me, that's a fun environment, and
No,
that's
it is.
and that's one of the things that that's important to me with the race series is the fun part of it. It needs to be fun. It can't just be, we're going to go out there and run hard. No, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a party, plain and simple, and it's going to be something where we're out there. We're all going to be having a good time, and I want to make sure that everyone that shows up has fun, and that's just kind of how I am. I want to have fun. If it's not fun, well, then why the hell am I doing it?
I don't get that vibe from you.
No, not at all.
No, I'm a miserable guy to be around.
Exactly. So when does registration open for this?
To my wife, haven't you?
Yeah, I have Jared. So when does this race?
Registration's open now?
It is open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ultra sign up.
Ultra sign up.
Even for the shorter distances, that's what I'm going to use is ultra sign up. It just makes it easy to run all registrations through there. Even if you don't have an ultra sign up account, at some point you're going to need one because I know you're going to run one of these stupid long distances.
Yeah,
it happens.
You'll get hooked.
So, okay, so it's in November. Now we live in northern Utah, and we know what's it going to be like in November, like temperatures, climate. I mean, what's it going to be like for people? Because hopefully we'll get people down there that aren't just that live in St. George, right? So it's a good place to get away, kind of cap off the end of your year.
Yes.
For those that have been running and racing, a nice little wrap up of let's have some fun, let's party with Turd'l.
It's a week and a half before Thanksgiving, so you got no excuse that, well, I just lived through Thanksgiving dinner, I'm too fat, I don't feel like I can run it.
Right.
It's a great time of year to be in St. George. There's a reason the St. George Marathon is the 1st of October. There's a reason the Huntsman Senior Games is the 2 weeks after that. It's a great time to be in St. George. The weather's cooler down there. I know that usually every year, right the weekend before the St. George Marathon, the weather kind of changes a little bit down there. It's almost like that's the time of year where the heat really breaks and it gets down to, 60s and 70s most of the time.
At night, at midnight. It's a
all
solid
day.
70.
I mean, that's kind of your highs that time of year. Now, again, you're dealing with the time of year when the days get shorter, and that's one of the reasons that we're doing the course, and one of the courses that we're going to run is going to be a night course, and that's why we're doing that, because we want to make sure that people are prepared to run at night and understand that the things that are required from you when you run at night. But
which is a funny topic, because me and Joel have been in the Ogden area for quite a while, and we were rookies, but as we started to see more and more people through our running group and our friends jump in, a lot of the thing was, how do you guys run at night? I'm scared to run at night. Because you don't train at night, right? So when you get those training things...
We do that all the time.
Yeah, we train early in the mornings, so we always have a headlamp in the morning.
Yep.
But it's a totally different ball game when you're running with a headlamp.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah,
so there's
tired.
just not enough of those. I mean, I don't know, really. And I mean,
well, there's that Mill Creek race that just
is.
happened last weekend.
Right.
They do a 50K.
At
so
night.
You get some practice there.
But that's an
once a
underground,
year.
right? That's an underground.
Yeah, it's totally
it's an underground and it's tough.
It is tough.
So this is something I enjoy running with a headlamp. I mean, not say every single day, but it's fun. It's different. You may be on the same trail you're on, but it looks different with a headlamp.
Yeah.
It does.
Right? And the temperatures again. So what we need you to do is maybe you should get a headlamp sponsor for this.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that'd be
Right?
good.
Like a Petzl, Black Diamond.
Maybe the Ultraspire Lumen will sponsor it.
Only if it's the 600.
Yeah, that would be
If it's
tough.
that 160, no.
170. But
We-
you need a
we
headlamp
We love the
sponsor.
Lumen, but if it's not the 600, don't
We're
don't waste
snobs.
your
We
money.
like,
Right.
We are
Yeah.
snobs.
Right.
but that would be good for you to get them to come out.
I get it. That's something that I've figured out how to utilize is, in running your ultra marathons, running your through the night stuff, is it's not just a headlamp doesn't work for me because it washes out the trail and I end up tripping over things. And so in the past, like when I ran Wasatch, the first time I ran with a headlamp in my hand or a flashlight in my hand so that I could see the trail. But I like to use hand bottles too, so that made it a little tricky. So when I ran Run Rabbit Run, I used that Lumen. I used a Lumen and both a Lumen and a headlamp.
Dude, it's a magical
It
combination.
is. That's
And it's amazing because you still have the headlamp that you can turn and
turn your head and
and
see.
look and see. Oh, what was that noise in the bushes?
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? If that's something you want to do.
That
or
600 just lights it up,
Oh
though.
man,
And
it's
you
like
just-
the sun on your belly.
my pacer at Run Rabbit Run didn't wear a headlamp the whole time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean he didn't. We just the whole time he just went off of the Lumen. So
that thing's
it's
awesome.
an amazing. It's an amazing lamp.
So here's a quick plug. If you want to help us out,
There you go.
the Trail Manners Podcast.
Yep.
And you're looking for that Lumen, we
Mhm.
have a link on our site where you can go and buy the Lumen.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
we we swear by it.
We
We're
do.
not going
We
to put
really
something
do.
on the site that we don't think is a good product.
Yeah, and another little hindsight is we've had people approach us about, I'm going to say sponsorship. Let's not say that. Let's just say,
Right.
hey, would you put our link on your website? And we haven't done it.
No.
Because it's not either product we're aware of or we're not
We're not
comfortable
going to
with.
believe in
Right.
it.
And
But
that's
we have
why
to
I mean,
use it.
yeah, and a lot of people, I've talked to people, so is UltraSpire sponsored? No, they don't sponsor
They don't
anything.
sponsor
We
us.
just love their product.
Yeah.
And so we have no problem getting quality product to people.
Exactly.
So that's the difference. But yeah, it is what you said. I mean, the headlamp, the 600 on your waist, you
That's
are
money.
money.
And I got to say, the Lumen 600 is $200.
Yeah.
That's that's a straight up. That's a punch in the wallet.
But,
I mean, I'm
but
not going to lie.
You're not going to buy it
But-
you're never going to buy it again, probably.
But right,
right?
you're never going to buy it again.
Yep.
But if you don't feel like spending that $200, that smaller Lumen 170 is still a good lamp. It's not going to do as
Yeah.
well for you
Oh,
in a
yeah.
100-mile distance.
Nope.
But if you're running a 10K at night, or if
Yeah.
you're running early in the morning,
And
or
you still
running
do the
early-
headlamp
here's
combo.
here's the
something
deal.
like that, it really is a great light.
Here's our caveat about the 160 or whatever that thing
170.
is. The 170 is it would be great on something that's not technical,
Mm-hmm.
something where you're not moving quickly, or like a bike path, right? Like a
Right.
paved bike
Yeah,
path.
right.
That'd be perfect
It really
for that
would.
product. But the 600, folks, that's the way to go.
Well, and here's the thing. If you start with a 170 and you don't know
oh
about
yeah,
the
if
600,
you don't know,
totally different game.
ignorance is bliss, right?
Yeah, because
I
that's
remember
what we
when
did.
I remember when we tried that 600 and Eric put on the 170, and they're like, "There's no
Yeah.
It's
way."
like, this is really cool.
Or
And then
no
Joel runs
way.
up behind him with the 600 and is like, "Hey, did this just turn off?"
Yeah,
look
exactly.
at my beam,
Yeah.
right?
This-
Exactly.
That 600 is so bright that when
It
you're
is.
behind someone, they're like, "Why do I have a headlamp?"
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
So it is.
really-
If you start with the 170, it's a game changer, right? If that's what you know, it is a
Yeah.
game changer. It's on your waist.
With the
it's
caveats,
totally
right?
different.
Yeah.
But you do the 600, and we've talked about this. We did a Gear Garage episode number 1 on the lumens.
Yep.
And that's one thing we said is, you're right, you are spending some money, $200.
Right.
And that's not like everybody's got an extra $200.
right.
But
No.
you look at it though, and it depends on what you're doing. You know, if you're in the mountains a lot, 100-mile races, how much did you pay for the race? How much are your shoes? How much is your nutrition?
Right.
How much is your pack?
Right.
So it still fits
How many
in
pairs
that
of shoes did you have to get there?
Yeah,
Exactly.
and it still
So
fits.
Lumen is just a one-time purchase.
Yeah, and it still fits in that category,
Yep.
and you will always use it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
You're going to use it on training runs.
yeah, it's legit. So I
I'd
know
also
that-
encourage you to buy a spare battery for it because the one battery will last you almost all night.
see,
We haven't tested the all-night version.
Yeah, it'll last you almost all night.
Really?
So
Get a
if you
spare
have,
battery?
What's
you
all
can buy
night
you can buy a second battery.
all night in the middle of the summer or all night in the fall.
I ran it with Run Rabbit Run and it didn't last all night. But I
Ooh.
bought a second battery just because I didn't want to have
'cause
to
it's
worry about that.
rechargeable.
It's rechargeable.
It's a recharge, but
Okay.
in the middle of how are you going to recharge it in the
No,
middle
but
of the
that's
race?
No, you can't. So here, that brings up another thing. So when I was looking to, maybe replace my watch because, I had the Sunto.
Nice work.
Thank
Nailed
you.
it.
I always got,
Soon,
I've always got
though.
to check that.
Stephanie
now.
Gardner, we nailed it.
Yeah. I've got the Ambit too, and I was like, well, I really want to record a full 100-miler, and the only way to do that was to either get a new watch, which I did, or get a little charger. And you can get on Amazon, you can get those little chargers, and they're like $15, and they're as big
Can
as.
you hook it up to the Sunto? while
Yes, you
run?
totally can.
Yep, it's just a USB.
And that's what Tara did. Tara Warren,
Yep.
superstar, rock star.
Right.
She did that at
Bighorn.
Bighorn. That's
Yeah.
how she got all her data.
So those little
So
batteries do work.
It could be done.
Yeah,
is what I'm trying
that's
to
good
say.
that you said that about because we haven't tested the total battery
Like
life for all
continuous.
continuous. We've done the morning with the 600, and then
Right.
like a day later in the morning.
I want it full on, as bright as it'll be,
Oh,
all night
that's all
long.
that's all I use it for.
Well, that's the same thing with the Sunto watch. I mean, I want that thing to last the whole 36 hours it takes me to run 100 miles. And,
Right.
and yeah, I get 70 miles out of it, and it goes, yeah, you're fat and slow.
It says speed up, sucker.
It really says
Speed
that?
up, Chucky.
Chunky.
So you feel like programmed yours.
It does. Yeah, it's got a little voice. It goes, speed up, Chunky.
Take the speedo off and get moving.
All right. So let's circle this back to your race series.
Okay.
All right. So this year you're going to have the capstone race. Basically, it's a 12-hour race. You can sign up to do 5K, 10K, half marathon, 50K. Get as much as you can in that 12 hours, right?
Right.
Then next year you start the actual series. So how often are you actually going to have a race?
Every couple
January?
of months.
Every
couple of months. Yeah. So the and again, dates are pending.
Approval.
Approval
right.
for through the BLM.
All right. So when do you anticipate having the training program available for people to start utilizing it.
But I know I imagine that information will be up on the website by the time the capstone goes off in November.
All right.
So
that's good to know.
And rough idea behind it, rough idea of time frames would be February is the 5K,
right?
April's the 10K,
all right.
June would be the half marathon.
Oh my God.
August would be the night 10K.
So June.
Night
what,
10K
what,
or marathon?
Night 10K.
All right. Are you gonna have
Night
a
10K.
marathon?
No, and my thought process behind that is it's a tough time of year to have a marathon in
It
St.
is.
George.
There's a lot going on.
Because of the light or because of the temperature.
Right.
And then 2 months after August is the St. George Marathon. So if
Right.
you're in the St. George Marathon,
You're not gonna come out. And
you're not
run
going to
that.
come out and run
No,
it anyway.
No,
Right,
definitely not.
Right.
So June.
And to me, I'm not really looking for the capstone. Yes, it has a 50K distance, but really this is a way to get people that have never run on trails before to run on trails, and
Right.
and to help those of us that like to go longer distances have something that challenges us in a way, right, with
Right.
the 50K distance. But really, this is more me wanting people that are not comfortable on trails, that really want to experiment and try trail running out,
Right.
to come out and try trail running and have something that gives them, the
Confidence.
the confidence
Right.
and a strong goal that they feel confident they can complete, but at the same time challenges them.
Right.
Well,
and
we've-
you're gonna marry this with your heck with the heat group, right?
Right.
So
Well, and the other part of this, and kind of what brought this to my attention, that this is something that needs to be there, is there's my wife is the executive director for Girls on the Run in Southern Utah.
Oh.
And Girls on the Run is an international organization that uses running as a catalyst to teach life skills to girls 3rd through 5th grade.
Right.
Everything from positive body image to how to stand up to bullies, and
Right.
and yes, running's a part of it, and that's something that at the end of the program they run a 5K, and I just thought, based on the growth that I see in the girls, and based on the growth that I've seen in my wife since she's been a part of this program, it's key to me. That's key, getting that kind of program rolling in trail, because
Right.
they all run on the roads, and,
Yep.
and it's good for the girls and whatnot. But I really want to challenge people and bring people the joy of trail running.
So are you going to get Girls on the Run involved with this?
So Girls on
No,
the Run,
You should. Let me rephrase
Yeah,
that.
rephrase
You
that.
should get them involved, because there's no excuse for them not to start on the trail. To be honest, right?
So Girls on the Run is an international organization,
Well,
and
yeah.
they have their own program set up.
Yeah.
Part of the proceeds from the race will go to as a donation to Girls on the Run. That's something that that I've done in the past. I did a double St. George Marathon the last couple of years as a fundraiser for Girls on the Run.
What's wrong with you? Why do you gotta do that?
Let's skip over that.
Double St.
Really?
George is miserable. Yeah, because
Oh.
the worst part is the turnaround where you go to actually start the marathon.
The official one.
Yeah, you're running. You're an hour or less before the marathon starts. You're running on a highway that doesn't have a shoulder, and there's buses that are driving people up to drop them off that are going 60 miles an hour past you. So it's not something I would encourage anyone else to do. It's not, to me, the safest environment.
So how many years have you done this?
Twice.
And you're not going to do it anymore, right?
No.
Okay, good.
No,
Two
I'm
and done.
I'm not currently in the St. George. I'm not currently registered for the St. George Marathon.
Okay.
So
Well, when you talk about this, me and Joel, we've talked about on the show, and we'll do some more shows, but our big thing as well is getting people out on the trails. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're
Right.
not just focused on the ultra distance. I mean,
No.
yeah, we've had guests on, and it's interesting because it's a story, right? The runners and how they've done
Yeah.
the 100 and what kind of lifestyle.
right.
But the biggest thing we like to bring to people is running on the trails is
It's the best.
It is, and it's a jump. It is from the road to the trail, and there's some uncertainty of what to expect. I'm going to roll an ankle.
Right.
There's rocks. There's
Right.
animals. There's whatever, and that's
I'm
what
worried,
we
I'm
want.
worried about snakes. I'm worried
Yeah.
about whatever. Right.
And
Right.
so
There's
that's
so many
There's more variables
so
that
many
you
things
can't
that
control.
people worry about
Right.
on the trails versus to me it's much more dangerous to run on the road because you got to dodge cars.
Yeah,
You know what I
you've
mean?
got that 2,000-pound missile that's pretty much going to kill you compared to rolling your ankle.
and guaranteed you're going to see those every time you go on a road run.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
Well,
A
and the other,
snake, I've seen one snake in the last 5 years. Right?
What?
jeez,
How is
no,
that
this is
possible?
me on my new table,
Yeah.
knocking on wood. We see a lot more than that. Just
Yeah.
on a
No, but
drive
I
down
only
the
see
street.
him up. I only see him up here.
What's wrong with the St. George snakes? They don't like you.
The turtles eat them.
The turtles eat them.
Come on now. No, but it's true is because people, it's the confidence level. And the other thing that comes up a lot when I talk to people is they don't know where the trails go. Because
true.
We're right behind us is Bonneville Shoreline Trail in Ogden.
Right.
It's an amazing, amazing trail, but there's a lot of
lots
spider trails.
There's lots of braids and spider trails.
So it's like if you don't know where you're going, you can end up in different places. I mean, it's easy for people just, okay, the city will always be that direction and the mountain's that direction. So I know the city's there. So it's easy.
Go north and south on the shoreline.
But there are a lot of spider trails. You can end up going up a canyon with a steep climb, or you want to stay on the trail. So there's so many variables to trail running, but we try to bring that to the forefront more, is getting into the trail running. Because you see, even in ultra running, you see a lot of that. You see these fast road runners get fed up or tired or wore out or burn out on the road, and they come over to the trail side and crush it.
Yeah, right. They love it. Right.
They love it.
It's like a kid in a candy store. You just
woohoo! Yeah,
you
this
know
is
what I
fun.
mean?
Just
So
like when you got to
freaking
the top of Wussy Peak, just like when you got to the top of Malans, and when you saw the spring, you got excited.
Yeah,
and me and Joel are like,
he got excited about the airplanes.
yeah, did.
And
Oh yeah, because
those airplanes were cool.
Those were jets.
So
out of a canyon, for crying out loud. They were flying down a canyon.
So for Eric and I, we live in Ogden, and next to Ogden is the Hill Air Force Base. And there's constantly jets taking off.
So you got up there and we're like, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, we got up there, and it just happened to be two jets just flying by,
right in front of us.
basically at our level. And
so cool.
Turtle's up there geeking out, and Eric and I are like, it's time to go down.
Yeah, can we turn
all
around
right, we're
now?
done. Let's turn around. I'm like, wait, look at that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Look at the airplane,
Like,
Daddy.
literally,
exactly.
you guys didn't even give me enough time to look around and go, okay, so where am I at?
Yeah.
Let's see. This is Ogden, right? I mean,
Well, it's because after the show,
Let's go down.
After the show, we're going back up.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, we're doing the tour
We're doing
after.
6 hours of Boscia or 6
6
hours
hours of
Malans. Is
Malans.
that what this is?
That was
Yeah,
last
that
weekend.
was last weekend.
Dude, you guys and your laps. I was trying to figure out how fast it took you guys to do that, so I was stalking
I
you
think
on
you're like
the Strava.
4 hours, or four
and you guys were
laps
up and
is-
back and up and back. It's like, dude, how
Four
how long
laps
does
is
one
pretty
do?
good in 6 hours.
Yeah,
I think.
Three solid.
Three
Three
is
is
three
solid.
solid. 4 is like you're really starting to push it. 5 is like you're smoking it.
Yeah.
Remember when Shane Martin did the 12 hours of Malans?
we did 12 hours too. So we did the 6 hours of Malans. So you start here at 27th. You start at 6 a.m. and you got 6 hours, so till noon. And you just go up and back. We have cars with water aid, and it's just going up and down. It's 2,000 feet of climb and a little over
Every
2
time.
miles.
Yeah.
But then we've done the 12 hours, and Shane Martin, who's run Hard Rock and Wasatch, started at midnight and went till noon.
Yeah.
And did what, 10?
He did 10. He got 44 miles.
Oh my gosh.
Can you believe that? And this is like, and you've been on it.
Yeah.
So it's
You
not me.
just went- it's no joke.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
that's some steep stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, it's steep enough that running down beats you up. It's
Yeah.
not like you can just
Yeah.
float down. There's
No.
sections that you can run pretty well coming down, but there's sections where it's like, I can't run this hard because I'm in shadows and I'll roll an ankle.
And you don't want to get out of control because you'll get thrown off the cliff.
Yeah.
pretty quick
Yeah.
and easy. So that's
down by the spring.
That's
You'll
one of
get
the
thrown off
services
that
me and
cliff.
Joel offers a
The
Malans
spring's
tour.
amazing.
Yeah, so there's a spring on the first switchback just below it. So if you come up here, you can get water there. It's pretty safe. It's really cold, which is nice.
Feels awesome.
Good water.
Yeah.
What's 160 now?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty hot. Yeah, that's what me and Joel, we offer tours of Malans, and that's what Turd'l wanted, so we
that's
took
what we
him
took
up.
him on today.
Yeah,
that was
that was
fun.
fun. It was a good time.
Me and Joel wore matching shirts,
We did.
so we look solid.
Matching
I didn't get
ultra
the, I didn't
tops.
get the memo.
Yeah.
Except yours was inside out.
I-
You guys look
well-
so stinking cute in their matching shirts.
That's what we try to do. We try to
Showing
put on
off,
a good
they got
impression.
the guns showing. They got these little
Sun's out.
Guns out.
Guns out, right?
Well, I got the sweet tan line going. I've been doing a lot of fishing lately in the UNs, so I got the sweet
I
tan
know,
line.
I felt so out of place in my speed goat shirt.
Well, I just thought you were cool when you pulled up. You had your soccer shorts on and his Hawaiian shirt. Joel missed it. He pulls up and
did.
said, "Man, I better change." And he was telling me, "Oh, in college, I wore soccer shorts without underwear all the time."
Right. Dude,
And it's
so
those
comfortable.
silky ones, right?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man, that's a little bit too stimulating.
Right.
Dude,
And he's like,
right.
He's like-
And how?
"Well, we're excited because we're going to be a big proponent of Turdl's
Yeah.
series, and you're going to see more of it on our website."
We'll push it to the nth degree as far as we can.
Yeah, because again, we jump on things that are
We believe in. Right.
we believe in. And this is going to be really cool because it's like right up the aisle, we think, of people getting out to the trails, experience them. Not so sure about the whole Heat and St. George thing, but I can look past that for a little bit.
For a little bit.
Yeah, to see.
Well, you know, and again, the middle of the summer one's going to be in the middle of the night. You know, probably start it at midnight, give you a couple hours to finish it
Oh
the
man,
day on the trail.
I'll be in bed by 7:30.
So
We'll have to wake you up.
wakey, wakey. Put on your sunscreen. It's midnight. We're in St. George.
So one of the things I thought might be advantageous to do on the podcast is actually give away a bib.
A bib.
Oh, wow.
And
To-
I've got a little bit of a contest
to
I'd
the
like
November to the November
to the
race?
November capstone race.
All
Yeah,
right,
whatever
we
this is
got
The
it.
one
We-
that's coming up
Matter of
this
fact-
year.
Matter of fact, I will give away bib number 1.
To whoever posts the best picture in a leopard Speedo. Right up Turdl's
Is that
alley.
what you're is that what you're? Is that
It's
what
your
you're
contest. You
Oh, it's
do
my
it.
contest.
This
All
is
right.
awesome. We're letting Turdl do a contest.
So here's what I want. Here's what I
I
want.
thought we were heading
want-
towards a different revenue stream there.
Well, this has been our most expensive podcast.
It has. How much did it cost us?
To download Shania Twain cost me $1.29.
And I feel like a woman. And all the beers we've crushed. So,
So you owe me
this is
$1.37.
Expensive. Expensive.
All right, so
Done.
give us the contest for bib number 1 at your capstone
here's what I'm
race.
thinking. So when I was in Colorado, in Silverton, the county there is the San Juan County.
Okay.
But they have a county code ZE.
What?
Okay.
I don't know why
Z-
it's ZE.
It's not like county code like 801?
No. It's like their county code, like they used to have it on their license plate. ZE.
ZE.
That's their
Oh,
county code,
gotcha,
right?
gotcha.
It's like in Wyoming, county codes are like 22. Like
Right, or-
Jackson's 22.
Or in Idaho,
Right.
Ada County, which is Boise, is A1 on their
Okay.
license plates, right?
Or
Right.
Weber
So
County, WC.
ZE is the county code for San Juan County.
Makes sense. Z and E and Zan Swan.
Why?
Yeah, no clue.
Why?
What are you giving us?
I don't know.
Is it
Zen
a
Energy.
mineral thing? Is it a mineral thing?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Do you want that bib?
What I
pretty
want,
sweet,
what I
right?
want to know is I want someone to figure that out and post it on.
What if I just did it though?
If you can have bib number 1.
I'll be down.
You can steal bib number
Yeah,
1
Z-
from all
so-
of your listeners.
ZE.
All of your listeners.
Okay, so ZE county code for San Juan County
And you
in
have
Colorado.
To, but yeah, you got to post. In the post, I want you to give resources like links to help
Right.
explain why. Because
Exactly.
I googled it. I don't know.
Oh, you
Oh.
did Google it. So
the
maybe.
the race director for Hard Rock, Dale,
Garland.
didn't know.
What? He's like a rocket
He's a
scientist.
school teacher.
He's a
there.
rocket
He's a
scientist,
school
right?
teacher there and doesn't know. How
So-
about that? So
So
That's
with
weird.
the contest, make sure if you enter the contest that you're gonna legitimately go down
Yeah,
in November
exactly.
to
Don't
run the
waste,
race.
or you can give it to somebody that's going to do it,
fully
right?
transferable. Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
we'll
go.
because
get back
we've done
bib to number
contests
1,
before.
But you know what? We're gonna. If you don't show up, we're gonna heckle whoever you give
Oh,
that bib
big
so,
to.
time.
So
hey, what if I win? Can I get bib number 8? That's my favorite number.
Yeah.
But
You
easy.
can.
Don't be giving away those secrets.
Well, not yet. I haven't figured out what it is. I'll
you
Google
can't.
it when you guys
bib number
leave.
1.
I'll hotspot
It's
it.
bib number 1.
It's bib 1. I'm
Yeah.
out.
So if
I
you want to
can't.
win, you can't use the bib.
All right, I'm out. So ZE.
ZE.
What does
Why-
it mean? Send a link.
Why is the county code for San Juan, Colorado, San Juan County in Colorado ZE? Why?
So post it on the Facebook page of this podcast for Trail Manners. Your answer. The first person.
Yeah.
Do you want to do first person or do you want to do a drawing for it? Well, let's do a first person because no one can
we'll tell you
copycat.
what, yeah, first person. Because
First person.
I don't know. I can't find it.
Joel's Googling it right now. That ain't cool.
I'm pretty good about this stuff, right?
Good luck.
He's
Seriously,
Googling.
good luck.
He's got his flip phone
Like,
out.
I don't
He's
know how to use
Googling
My
it.
Google?
flip phone.
Like I ran out of Googles or something. I couldn't spend more Googles.
Dude, I've seen your website.
Joel's
I know what your
BlackBerry is
skills are.
humming.
Wow.
My BlackBerry.
His BlackBerry is humming right now. He got it off his holster.
My
His pa-
holster.
from his pants.
He's flipping this thing open.
His flip phone
He's charging
BlackBerry.
it up.
All right,
hasn't
you
charged
two
in 6
suckers
months.
just entertain yourselves. Give me a second. I'll figure this out.
Yeah, right. He's going for it. No, I think that's a good
I
contest.
need my reading glasses, though.
See?
That's what happens when you have too many beers.
That's right. Too bad we didn't have we had
Too many
cans.
beers.
You
You
could
got
use
any
the
more in
bottle.
there?
It's empty. It's just ice. So we got our laptop sitting on an ice chest open with
finally
ice
cooled off.
because it's so hot. Well, Turdl, we appreciate you coming on. Telling us the meaning of Turdl, where it came from, because
Yep.
that was something. I'm not kidding. There were people asking me quite a bit. I mean, there were people on the trail, not a joke, that I didn't know, and they're like, "Hey, I heard that show. Why do they call him Turdl?" And I'm like, "Well, why didn't I ask that?" But sometimes there are people with nicknames that don't like to get into it.
Right,
So
right,
I didn't want to press. So that's why I wanted to clear with you first. So thanks for talking about your nickname. The van life, I think, is super cool. Something we're pumped on here, and
Right.
with the 78 bus, and we love your setup. We always take photos of it, and we've been in it. It's super sweet. Except, that's what I missed. Episode 10, I think I sat on a burrito or something, didn't I? heated up a burrito?
He had burritos.
Yeah.
Did I
He
have
had
burritos?
Yeah,
in
you
there?
had all kinds of food in there.
Burritos and beers and
Yeah, I
I
don't.
got bratwurst in there now.
They're probably done.
Dude, yeah.
It's so hot. They're
No,
probably
they're in the
done.
fridge.
That's nasty.
That fridge is cold. Are you
Right
kidding me?
next to the leopard thong.
Yeah, bratwurst. They're tasty. You want a
Bratwurst.
bite of that bratwurst? don't you?
Rot-roast. Rot-row. So, yeah, we appreciate you coming on, as always. I mean, we're definitely going to have you on again.
Well, I appreciate you having me, man.
We're going to be pushing your race series because it's something we think is going to be super cool. Don't be surprised if you see us down there, especially when Joel wins the contest as soon as
Working on it.
BlackBerry fires up. He's still trying to. He has to push the number 3 like 4 times to
Google
get the
does-
right letter.
Google doesn't know. Just so you know, Google doesn't know.
Just
I'm
be
gonna-
patient. I'm going to figure this out.
I'm gonna
I don't
make-
like to lose to the computer.
I'm gonna make
folks.
his BlackBerry's humming. It's overheating. It's so hot. But yeah. So the other thing is we're gonna be at OR, Outdoor Retailers.
Wait a minute. This show's going to come out after all.
You're right, but this is about his show.
Okay.
You know, this is about Turd'l. We're gonna launch Turdl's show when his website's ready. Okay.
Well, that depends on me.
Yeah, and if I should get that
And my
BlackBerry humming.
BlackBerry.
And me responding to an email from
Yeah.
Joel. Right.
Yeah, folks. I just learned this thing. Turdl's not very good at emailing.
No, I'm terrible. I'm really
Technology.
good at talking on the phone and decent at sticking a microphone in front of my face. And chatting
Decent,
for a
I would
while,
say,
but
because
yeah,
you keep
yeah.
tossing it to the side. That's why the sound. I'm not going to mix this too
That's why
hard.
the sound sucks.
Yeah, there we go. But no, it's been fun. We've had him on. He's a supporter of the show. Obviously, he's helped us out in the past. But yeah, we're excited. We're going to put a lot of links on here, probably to the Hard Rock Beer Mile, so you guys can see Turd'l in all his glory.
Yeah.
Or
Taking fourth.
fourth is pretty
Or
solid.
He beat Jim Wamsley.
Crushed
You hear
him.
that? Jim Wamsley.
Crushed him.
You can see Jim Wamsley's little beer belly. It's really endearing. It's really
endearing.
cute.
So who took
Way
first
cute.
at that beer mile?
Justin Ludig, the guy that
Okay.
he and I
Big
hugged.
Big Blue.
Yeah,
He
he and I
hugged.
hugged.
So
Yep.
do you know second and third? Who beat you?
So second and third actually caught me in the final curve.
Sure they did.
They did because, and if you look at the results, and I can post a link to the results as well. They only beat me by 5 or 6 seconds, and simply because
You got to dig deep,
I
Turd'l.
did a really good job at drinking the beer, but I also knew on that final curve with 4 beers in me, I could feel my stomach kind of
What kind of beers did you have?
turtling.
Tecate? Well, that's why.
Tecate
That's
with
why.
lime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they mildly warm or cold?
No, they're cold.
Okay,
Cold
so-
with a lime.
So you know,
I take it out there with a cooler.
if they're
They're
mildly
cold.
warm, they
They're-
go down so much faster.
It's
Yeah,
easier.
they don't.
And if you
Right,
don't
you
use
do.
With a
Tecate,
lime.
it's
With a
10
lime.
times better. You probably would take first.
With a lime. So anyway, as I'm rounding that final curve, I'm in less than 100 yards to the finish line. I can feel that it decides it doesn't really want to stay down. So I had to stop. I had to start walking at that point,
and you
and I had
saw
2
it,
guys
man.
caught me right there before the finish line, or I would have taken second or third. So yeah, it was kind of disappointing. But my daughter got to watch me race, and you know,
That's kinda disappointing.
That's the important thing.
Well, you know, one thing we hashtag here, and we're advocates of, and it kind of lets me down, is we have a hashtag, now go get it. When you, going forward, when you feel the curdle, in the Turd'l curdle, right, in the gut.
Curdle.
Like that.
That's a good
You want me
hashtag.
to
when you
hashtag
when you
go get it or
swagger
what?
in, when you swagger in and stagger out,
Oh,
right?
don't use swagger.
Yeah, you got to. Everybody's using it.
I
It's
mean schwacking.
yeah, no, that's a different one. So when you got the Turd'l curdle going, just remember, Trail Manners hashtag, now go get it.
Get it.
Right.
That's right.
That's what it's about.
I'm trying to get the Z, folks.
He's still got his BlackBerry humming
I'm
over
working
here,
hard.
man. You got to take it out of the leather case first.
I'm new? Do you think come on.
You're
dude.
like old. You don't know how to use this stuff.
Turd'l still calls it electronic mail.
I am. Electronic mail.
All right, well, Turd'l, thanks for coming on the
yeah,
show.
thank you.
It's
Appreciate
been
it.
fun. Thanks for going to Malans with us.
Yeah, that was good fun.
That was a good time.
Yeah,
We
thanks
enjoyed
for-
taking
thanks for the
people
tour.
to new places.
Yeah,
Yep.
That was a lot of fun. Anytime you're in town, or if anybody's in town, we'd be more than happy to show you around.
sure thing.
But we'll make sure we post all the links so you know what Turdl's got going on. Please don't forget about the contest. We'd love to see a winner go down and represent the Trail Manners crew.
That's right. Or
Down.
about that headlamp down there in Davis County.
Yeah, get that
Somebody needs to
headlamp.
find that.
Yeah, that 170 before it, like a squirrel takes off with it, you know, and does the bat signal or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you find that. More information on the Trail Manners website and Facebook. Turdl, thank you very much.
Appreciate you having
All
me.
right, now go put some clothes on. Have a good day. Thank you for listening to the Trail Manners podcast. We'd like to thank our guest, Turd'l Miller, for joining us today. We want to wish him luck with his race series and his races down there in southern Utah. Don't forget about the contest. We'd love to see you head down, represent Trail Manners at one of Turdl's races. We'd also like to encourage you all to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Trail Manners, or swing by the website at trailmanners.com. Stop by the store page for some gear, or hit us up on the contact page. Let us know what you'd like to see, who you want to hear, or if you'd like to be on our show. So until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.